We'll sing this bhajan. This is what we sing at the beginning of every class. Before that, Hare Krishna, welcome to everyone who has taken their time and came to our Saturday Satsang program. And also to the devotees who are online. Thanks to Tapas Prabhu for telecasting whatever the programs that are going on online. Before singing this bhajan, so Srila Prabhupada, our founder Acharya, tells us that this bhajan is exactly like it contains, like exactly in Prabhupada's words, he says that this bhajan has the like address, zip code, phone number, everything of Krishna. Basically, this is like his childhood pastimes, about his activities and so on. So we start with this bhajan. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmulitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutastunvanti Divyaistavai Vedai Sangha Kramopanishadair Gayantu Yam Samagaha Dhyanavastita Tadgatena Manasa Pashyanti Yam Yogino Yasyantam Navidussura Suragana Devaya Tasmai Namaha. I will refer to this verse in our lecture once again. So, we are continuing in our next mantra of Isopanisad. So up to now we have seen like 3 mantras of Isopanisad. The first one speaks about, all the 3 speaks about how to live in Isavasya principles mainly. So the first one is Ishavasyamidam sarvam yatkinchad jagatyam jagat tena tyaktena bhunjita magridah kasya siddhanam. This is the first mantra of Isopanisad. That is Isavasyamidam sarvam. It speaks about how all this jagat, yatkinchat jagatyam jagat, the constituents of the universe and the universe itself is all pervaded by Ishvara. And tena tyaktena bhunjita, accept your quota and magridah kasya sviddhanam, do not steal another man's property. So it speaks about how one has to live according to Isavasya principles. And the second mantra speaks about Kuruvanneveha karmani jijiviset satam samaha. That is, one can desire to live for thousands of years, hundreds of years, satam samaha, as long as one do such actions which does not bind them to the law of karma or like the cycle of birth and death. So one has to engage in the activities. So what sort of activities one must perform while doing this Isavasya principles is said in Mantra 2. That is, one must perform activities to escape the cycle of birth and death. And the third one speaks about what if you do not adhere to these instructions. And there is a warning there. Asurya namate loka andhena tamasavruta. Like it says, tamste pretyabhi gachanti. Eke atmahana janaha, like that it comes. Like these killers of the soul who do not live to those instructions will go into these places for asuryas, famously known as for asuras, which is filled with darkness and ignorance, and they suffer perpetually. That's what it says. So here about like how to live according to Isavasya principles is discussed in the first 3 mantras. So now actually I told in the beginning introduction class about how this Shruti literature, especially Upanishads, are these excerpts from Vedic Shastras, and they actually speak about these verses which will tickle these intellectual minds. Basically it makes you ask questions and so on. So one of these verses, like now 4 to 8, whatever the mantras that we see, actually speaks about the personality of Godhead, whatever we are seeing. And it gives about these contradicting statements about how he is stationary but he moves. So all that which is not possible by a humanly thing. So those kind of contradicting statements it gives to describe that Supreme Lord, which will be very interesting to see. And also we'll go through today's mantra. So you can repeat after me. Anejadekam manaso javiyo Naina devapnuvan purvamarshat Tadhavatonyanatyeti tishthat Tasmin apo matarishvadadhati Anejadekam manaso javiyo Naina devapnuvan purvamarshat Tadhavatonyanatyeti tishthat Tasmin apo matarishvadadhati Anejadekam manaso javiyo Naina devapnuvan purvamarshat Tadhavatonyanatyeti tishtat tasmin napo matarishva dadhati. Okay, we'll go to word by word meanings. Anejat, fixed. Ekam, one. Manasaha, than the mind. Javiyaha, more swift. Na, not. Ena, this supreme lord. Deva, the demigods like Indra, etc. Apnuvan, can approach. Purvam, in front. Arshat, moving quickly. Tat, he. Dhavataha, those who are running. Anyan, others. Atyeti, surpasses. Tishtat, remaining in one place. Tasmin, in him. Apaha, rain. Matarishva, the gods who control wind and rain. Dadhati, supply. So, this is translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Although fixed in his abode, the personality of Godhead is swifter than the mind and can overcome all others running. The powerful demigods cannot approach him. Although in one place, he controls those who supply air and rain. He surpasses all in excellence. So, here you can see that Anejat means one who is fixed in his abode. Ekam, he is one person among all entities with no equal or superior and with a form full of knowledge. So, Anejat also means fixed, and also it means that not fearing. That is also one of the meaning. Acharya has given commentary actually. Manaso Javiyo, swifter than mind. So you saw how Anejat is that fixed, and also is Manaso Javiyo, he can move swifter than the mind. Naina Devapnuvan Purvam Arshat, even the powerful Devatas that move quickly cannot approach him. So Deva also means senses also. That means he is beyond whatever that we can obtain through senses. So he is beyond the knowledge obtained through sense perception as well. That also it means. Tadhavato anyan atyeti tishtat. He surpasses all others who are running, though he is situated in one place, because he is all pervading. Tasmin apo matarishva dadhati. He controls those who supply air and rain, that are devatas. So if you observe this Upanishad literature, you don't directly see, speaking about like the word Krishna. Some of that it might have, but like usually it won't speak about like Krishna, Ram or something like that. The reason is the Shruti literature is very broad. It is trying to. I told you like in the introduction class, it contains Paravidya and Aparavidya. All that encompasses of it, like it consists of these offerings of the hymns that you offer it to the demigods, so that the overall welfare is taken care of. When you do Yagnat Bhavati Parjanyat Anna Sambhava, like that in Bhagavad Gita, that loop will be there. Like when you offer offerings to the demigods, they will be pleased and they shower like good climatic conditions like rain and grains, so that our day-to-day body well-being will be covered. And with whatever that is, that conditions that are favorable to the body, we have to perform our Yuga Dharma and perfect this life and leave this and go to the supreme abode. That is what Anejat is, one who is fixed in his abode, basically. So, but like you can see in these following verses, how that message will be set, like whatever you are trying to look for about the characteristics of the God, that we can actually see. Since we have already gone through Bhagavad Gita verses, you can directly see what this verse is referring to, and you can see that it's clearly having one-on-one correspondence to what Krishna is speaking in Bhagavad Gita. For example, I'll tell at the end it will come. I will reiterate again. So this like in the one of the I think 17 or something of verse of Isopanisad, it says. Vayuranilam amrutam atedam bhasmantam sariram om krato smara kratam smara krato smara kratam smara. That is Vayuranilam amrutam. Let this like pranavayu, I'll tell what all the pranavayu are. Let be mixed with the like whole air of the cosmos, you can say. And atedam bhasmantam sariram. Let this body be burned to ashes. Om krato smara kratam smara. Krato means one who is supreme beneficiary of all the practices that is going on. Like for whatever yajnas you are doing, whatever puja whatever you are doing, like any prayers that you are performing, all that there is one receiver who is receiving everything. To that krato, smara kritam smara, please remember all that I have done. So at the end of the life, what is the stage of a yogi is being said there. But now if you observe Bhagavad Gita, there will be this verse. Now who is that krato? Upanishad will not very specifically tell it. Then you have to read the commentaries of Acharyas and also Bhagavad Gita, then you will know that krato is none other than Krishna. Because Krishna says, Bhoktaram yajna tapasam sarvaloka maheswaram. So all the yajna and tapasya that is going on, I am the supreme bhokta, Bhoktaram yajna tapasam sarvaloka maheswaram. I am the Maheshwara of all the lokas. Suhridam sarvabhutanam gnatvam mam santam ruchati. So it says about how he is the supreme bhokta. So all this points towards that, and we can see from like Srila Prabhupada's and Acharya's commentary that that Supreme Lord that is being referred here is none other than Krishna himself. So Supreme Lord is unsurpassable in all respects. So the theme of today's lecture is also he is the inconceivable one, something like that. So as I said, the summary is like the first three gives about living in harmony with Ishvara. From fourth mantra onwards, we'll understand how Ishvara can be understood by such spiritual vision. So Madhvacharya writes on this verse commentary, the Lord is described as not trembling, anejat, that is also another meaning, because he is fearless. He is one, eka, because he is supreme. He is not even understood by even devatas, nainat deva apnuvan, because they cannot understand him fully. So the Mangalacharan verse that I chanted, Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Maruta Stunvanti Divyastavai, this is in the last chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam. In that the third line says about it. What it says is Brahma, Varuna, Indra, Rudra, Marutaha are glorifying to that God whom they are glorifying, to that Lord Hari, I offer my oblations. That's what the construction of that sloka will be. And the third mantra is Yasyantam, the third line of that sloka is Yasyantam na viduhu surasura ganaha devaya tasmai namaha. I think it's the fourth line. So Yasyantam na viduhu, with means knowledge. So the sura or asura gana, one foremost of the devata you take and the foremost of the demonic person you take. No matter how many worlds they are conquering, they cannot understand what is the beginning and the end of the Supreme Lord. He is that level of infinite qualities that he contains. So that's what here Madhvacharya also is saying. He is not, even this mantra is also saying that. He is not understood by even the devatas, nainat deva apnuvan, because they cannot understand him fully. But that is why in Bhagavatam, if you see, there will be these mistakes covered, done by Indra, and then they realize that mistake that Krishna is Supreme Lord and they offer obeisances. Then Brahma will come, he wants to test, then he will fail miserably and then offer obeisances. So this is one thing where we can understand that through their pastimes, Krishna is teaching the same Upanishad's Vakya, which is that Nainat Deva Apnuvan Purvamarashat. But he, by his very nature, has understood everything from the beginning of the time, Purvamarashat, because his power is inconceivable and because he is all-pervading, he surpasses all while remaining in one place, though they pursue him. Since all actions of living beings arise from Vayu, Matrishva, and Vayu offers all actions of the living beings, Apaha, to the Lord, a person should offer everything to the Lord. That's what Madhvacharya says. So Prabhupada opens the purport of this mantra by speaking about how through mental speculation, even the greatest philosophers cannot know the Supreme Lord, who is the absolute personality of Godhead. He can be known only by his devotees through his mercy. So he quotes these two verses from Sri Brahma Samhita. So Brahma Samhita is one of the excerpts of like Vedic literature, where Brahma offers these prayers to Krishna. And it has this Makut Dese, which keeps repeating throughout the Brahma Samhita, that is Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. So Brahma will be like there is so many secrets about who is the Supreme Lord, what is the spiritual world, what is the material world, what is our relationship, what are demigods, all that will be there. There is an excellent book, even we have, if you are interested, you can take on Sri Brahma Samhita. In that, actually, Brahma Samhita is one of the Samhitas where it was lost actually. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he is in this tour to South India, in one temple in Tamil Nadu, it's called Adikeshav Perumal temple, something like that. There he recovers these, like the priests will be singing this, and on the inscription of the temple or somewhere these mantras are there, Brahma Samhita mantras. So he recovers that because these are very valuable, stating the position of Krishna as the Supreme Lord. Even Ishwarah Parama Krishna, Satchidananda Vigraha, Anadiradir Govinda, Sarvaka Aranakaranam, that verse what we chat is coming from the Brahma Samhita. In that this verse is being said. You can repeat after this, very nice verses these all. Pantastu koti satavatsara sampragamyo Vayo rathapi manaso munipungavanam Sopyasti yat prapadasimni avichintya tattve Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, only the tip of the toe of whose lotus feet is approached by yogis who aspire after the transcendental and betake themselves to pranayama by drilling the respiration, or by the Gnanis who try to find out the non-differentiated Brahman by the process of elimination of the mundane, extending over thousands of millions of years. So, understanding the position of Krishna is not possible by the philosophical or like these pursuits by Vayo Rathapi Manaso Munipungavanam. That is like by restricting Vayo or Manaso, by forceful restriction of senses and doing extreme austerities is not when Lord will reveal himself, but by loving devotional service is what he reveals. He also continues in this next verse, Prabhupada mentions, Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Pratibhavitabhis Tabhir ya eva nijarupa taya kalabhi Golokayeva nivasatya kilatma bhuto Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, residing in his own realm, Goloka, with Radha, resembling his own spiritual figure, the embodiment of the ecstatic potency possessed of the 64 artistic activities in the company of her confidants, Sakhis, embodiments of the extension of her bodily form, permeated and vitalized by his ever blissful spiritual rasa. So these translations are given by Sri Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. You can see how it will be very, somewhat very difficult. So basically what it says is, there is a spiritual world which is illuminated on its own. You will not have any sun or moon to have that light. So basically there, Lord will be in his own Swarupa, Nijayeva Rupa, Taya Kalabhi, and all the Jivas also. Okay, they are not Jivas, all the associates of the Lord also, who will be engaging in the services. So very personal aspect of the Lord is said in Brahma Samhita. And that potencies and all that we'll discuss in few short time. So in Vishnu Purana, I'll come to this point. Before that, actually in one of the commentaries of Vedanta Desika also, this point what Prabhupada is mentioning in the first paragraph is discussed. Vedanta Desika is a foremost Vaishnava, revered Vaishnava in Sri Vaishnava community. If you go to Tirupati, the bell of Lord Venkateshwara, they say the bell is actually Vedanta Desika. So he writes in the commentary of Sri Isopanisad given by Bhanuswam Maharaj. So he remains everywhere, Tishtan. I think I put that slide. Yeah, this verse is what I'm saying. He remains everywhere, Tishtan. It is said, Yah Prithivyam Tishtam. He remains in the earth. This is from Brihadaranyaka Upanishad 3.7.3. And Ya Atmani Tishtan. he remains in the soul. So it is said he remains everywhere. It is said, Yah Pridivyan Tishtan and Yah Atmana Tishtan. Thus, remaining motionless everywhere, he overtakes all others, such as Garuda, who are running. However quickly they run, the Lord, though remaining motionless, is far away from them. And this verse, Vedanta Desika quotes, Varshayuta Shatenapi Pakshiradiva Sampatan Naivantan Karanasyayat Yadjapisyan Manojavaha. Even if one travels at the speed of mind, like Garuda, flying for 1,000,000 years, one cannot find the end of the Lord. This is Ahir Buddhya Samhita. So, and also in the subsequent sections, we also saw how Matarishva, that section is said in this mantra, like how Supreme Lord is a supporter. In Vishnu Sahasranam also this comes. Jausa Chandrarka Nakshatram Kamdiso Bhur Mahodadhi Dadihi Vasudevasya Viryena Vidritani Mahatmanaha. That means being supported by the Lord, who is controller of everything and the container of everything. Matarishva air, by the Lord's power, carries the sun, clouds, the constellations, planets and stars. And this verse is quoted. The power of Vasudeva, the greatest soul, supports the sky, moon, the sun, stars, Akasha, the directions, the earth and ocean. This is said in, this comes in Vishnu Sahasranam. So, why I am saying this is, Prabhupada mentions that by mere mental speculation, one cannot understand what are the pastimes of Lord Hari. And also you can see there are so many commentaries that are being written, but the only, the knowledge from this absolute truth that we can get through are the sincerely practicing devotees, where the Lord will reveal himself to them. That's the only means of obtaining that. That is the section that Prabhupada mentions. And in this next section, what Prabhupada mentions, he discusses about Lord's energies. You might, okay, now I'll say this point. So there is a verse from Vishnu Puran. So it is said that his potencies are compared to heat and light that emanate from a fire. Because we are constantly referring to this point, how he is fixed and then he is able to pervade all and doing all the activities. How is it possible? One of the analogies for us to understand is given by Vishnu Puran. That is, Prabhupada mentions this repeatedly actually in the Bhagavatam also. Like how heat and light emanate from fire. Although situated in one place, a fire can distribute its light and heat for some distance. Similarly, absolute personality of Godhead, although fixed in his transcendental abode, can diffuse his energies everywhere. So all that is happening in the world, even this material world, whatever we are living in, this is called Bhuloka. So this is one plane. Like that there will be 14 lokas. So ours is the 7th one. Above us there will be 6 and below that there will be 7. So above that Swargaloka, Bhuvas, Swarga, Mahas, I think Tapas, and then Janasloka, Satyaloka. Like that there will be 6. And down Atala, Sutala, Talatala, Rasatala, Patala, like that there will be 7. So according to the desires of the living being, when you are entrapped and the activities you are performing, where you are going to be is decided. So one of the section Prabhupada mentions, when you read his Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam, Prabhupada mentions this. Out of all these 14 planets, one of the best planet to live is actually Bhuloka. Why? Because people who are in the top 6 are having so many bodily comforts, and because they did much more pious activities. So once you understand the Vedic literature, you can see that these positions of the demigods in the top lokas are actually result of their pious activities that they have done. Like for example, in Mahabharata, if you read, these sections will be there. Like if you perform in one body, one life, some number of Ashwamedha Yajnas, then they will immediately, one chariot will come, take you and put you as a Brahma of some other planet. Like the same thing as the position of Indra also. If you perform so and so Yajnas, then immediately you are taken, if this, like now the current Indra's name is Purandar, I think. So after this end, Bali Maharaj will become like Indra. So you will be taken to another Indra position. So these are temporary posts, like where according to their activities and their pious things, if they are there, they will be given these positions. If you are doing abominable activities like breaking 4 regulative principles or hurting other jivas, then you will be put down in the lower planetary systems. So this is all material world itself, even though it consists of 14 realms led by the Brahmaloka, where like Brahma will be there. All these still come under the material world itself. What Brahma Samhita says is, above that there will be a line which is like a plane which divides it. This is all material world, and above it there will be spiritual world. Where if you are so attached to Ram, you will be taken to a planet where Sakyatapuri will be there. All the residents, like they are worshipping and participating in the activities of Lord Ram, and so on. So anyone who is pursuing only Brahma Jyoti, or like this Nirakar Swarup of the Lord, and only meditating on that dry Brahman, then they will be just going to the Brahma Jyoti and like stuck there. But beyond Brahma Jyoti, what Brahma Samhita clarifies through our acharyas is that there are like these lokas, abodes of Satchidananda Swarup of Krishna, and where we can go and render services and enjoy or experience more blissful experiences than the temporary relief that Brahma Jyoti offers. So this is one of the Vishnu Purana things. So when discussing about these energies, how Lord operates, like the account of this is given in detail. One thing is, then how this operation of the world, like this creation and annihilation, all this is happening is by the Lord's Shaktis. So when there is a Shakti, there is Shaktiman. There is energy and energetic. So that is what Shastras teaches. So Krishna is the Shaktiman, and all his energies does the work for him, basically. So there are 3 types of energies, and the master of all this energy and the lord of all energies is Krishna. Okay, so the 3 energies are internal potency, marginal potency, and external potency. So these are Antarangika Shakti, which is internal potency. External potency is Bahiranga Shakti, and marginal potency is Tatas Shakti. So all the spiritual sky, the kingdom of God, all the associates of it, these are all coming from the internal potency of the Lord. That is, it comprises mostly of Sandhini, Samvit and Hladini. So Radharani is Hladini Shakti of Krishna. That is the pleasure potency of Lord. That is one. As I told before, like Lord and Jivas are qualitatively same. Both are Sat, Chit and Ananda Swarupas. So Sat means eternal, Chit means full of knowledge, and Ananda means bliss. So the equivalents to what Lord's infinite qualities are there in Antarangika Shakti. So the Samvit is Chit Shakti of the Lord. So it consists of all the spiritual knowledge of everything that is going on, operational knowledge and so on. And eternal, all the kingdoms, spiritual sky, all these like spiritual planets, these are all Sandhini Shakti. And Ananda is Hladini Shakti. So the external potency. Now coming to material world like Maya, all these whatever we see, which are Jayate, Gacchate, iti Jagat is what we saw. So one it comes into creation and goes into annihilation and so on. So all the modes of Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, Gunas, all comes from the external potency of the Lord. And marginal potency is where Jivas and demigods, all this comes under marginal potency. So why I am saying this? Okay, all these are good. What should I do with this knowledge? The reason why this is very at length discussed by Srila Prabhupada also is that there are some schools of thoughts which says about Brahma Satya and Jagan Mithya. That is, all the creation and the constituents of creation are illusory, they say. But the thing is, what acharyas from Madhvacharya and the acharyas belonging to bona fide Vaishnava Sampradayas, what they say is this is not it's not a mithya, but it is asat. That means it is just temporary. So when we are looking at all the, like for example, temple is there. All this is actually Balaram expanding to serve Lord Krishna and Radharani. So one should not just reject it saying this is all material thing, but one has to find a way to engage in Lord's service. So these energies, if you understand, then you can understand that the relationship between the energies and the energetic, and that's where more concrete understanding of the God is understood. So in the next section, like Prabhupada speaks about how God and his energies are non-different and yet different. So his energies and Lord are non-different. Like for example, Prabhupada writes very nice point when discussing those energies. He says there are hundreds and millions of subheadings of each of these categories. Like I told only 3, some with some these Shaktis. Like that, Prabhupada tells under each category there are millions of subheadings. So there are innumerable energies of the Lord that we might not know in full, but he is there. And Lord and his energies are non-different. And also the energy should not be mistaken to the supreme truth. That is one important point Prabhupada mentions. That means taking the energies and worshipping its supreme truth is, you are missing the whole picture. For example, there are people who just worship nature. Oh, nature is this, nature is that, and then they worship to the natures and so on. But the thing is, nature or the laws of nature, there is someone who made it. That means there is someone who is beyond the laws of nature. And who is the master of all that will not be abide by the laws of nature. That's the definition of the God. You will know it like in coming verses also. That Lord is beyond, that is what is prescribed by the laws of nature. And also another point when I said about this Vishnu Puran verse, how the heat and light are dissipated from fire, we might mistakenly have this misconception that his impersonal energy is what distributing throughout the worlds. So Prabhupada actually clarifies that Lord is not impersonally distributed. Lord remains personal, even though he is situating it in his own abode. Can anyone tell any example which you are recollecting when I am saying this? That Lord is situated in the abode, but he is available here also. Like that from any experience or from the recollection, can you see? Can you tell? Okay. From any Puranas also you can say. Anywhere this is demonstrated that even though Lord is somewhere, then he is personally present, not just impersonally. Sun is, again you will say, light and heat are kind of impersonal, right? One example we get from the Shastras is Draupadi. In Mahabharata, when Draupadi is being humiliated in the Kurusabha, then she actually calls for Krishna. Hey Krishna, Gopi Jana Vallabha. There is one whole sloka. Next time I'll show. Hey Dwaraka Vasin, like that she glorifies. And you can see that Krishna appearing in the court and then giving her infinite saris to protect her humiliation. Actually, if you read in like more parvas, in Vanaparva or somewhere, Krishna will come and meet them in forest, all the Pandavas and Draupadi. One thing we'll know later is, when all this dice game is happening and Draupadi is being humiliated, Krishna will be in Dwaraka and there will be 2 demons who will be attacking that kingdom of Dwaraka. So they will be strategizing war. And what happens from the collection of thoughts, account of what are the courtesans of those, what is happening. So Krishna will be sitting on his throne. Then the ministers are saying, oh, that is being attacked, this is going on, and so he'll be just listening to it. And immediately, like Draupadi is crying there in Hastinapur, in the Kurusabha, he will get up, he will walk 2 steps down the stairs and he will disappear there. And so Lord is faster than the mind. Manaso Javiyo is demonstrated in the Draupadi thing. And also from the Prahalad also. Like where he repeatedly being saved in terms of Narasimha Bhagavan, how he comes from a pillar of, like where Hiranyakasipu is there. Like that you can see from the accounts of Gajendra also, where like Gajendra is asking for the Lord to help. Namo Arupayo Rupaya Ascharya Gunakarmane. There are series of prayers that like Gajendra does, and where Vishnu appears on Garuda and immediately releases his Sudarshan Chakra and cuts off that crocodile. Who, his name, that Gandharva's name. So Lord remains personal, though he is distributed everywhere, he is remaining personal. And one must not draw conclusions based on the limited capacity, is what Prabhupada discussing. And one Upanishad warning we will see is, no one can approach Lord through their own limited potency. That's what. So one must not come to the conclusion of who God is through their own limited potencies, limited conclusions. And also this incomprehensible and inconceivable Lord, in Bhagavad Gita also it is said, Name vidus suragana. Now I said right, like how Isopanisad is saying that Lord is beyond what Devas can achieve. He can move faster than the mind. Now Krishna is saying that is himself. Name vidus suraganaha prabhavam na maharshayaha aham adirhi devanam maharshinam cha sarvasaha. Neither the hosts of demigod nor the great sages know my origin or opulences, for in every respect I am the source of the demigods and sages. Lord says that not even the great rishis and suras can know him, and what to speak of asuras, for whom there is no question of understanding the ways of Lord. So Isopanisad very clearly points the absolute truth is ultimately the absolute person. Otherwise there would have been no need to mention so many details in support of his personal features. And also another thing, Isopanisad also warns the futility of trying to establish the identity of Lord through mental speculation. One should try to learn of the transcendence from the Lord himself, the supreme source of Vedas, for the Lord alone has full knowledge of the transcendence. That's why how many Vedic literature Upanishads we give great importance to Bhagavad Gita, because it is coming from that supreme Lord himself. In Gita Mahatmya, Shankaracharya writes, actually those verses are there in Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita introduction also. In that one of the things he writes is Sarvopanishado Gavo Dugdha Gopala Nandanaha Pardho Vatsaha Sudhir Bhoktaha Dugdham Gitamritam Mahat. Very nice verse this is. That is, if all Upanishads and Vedic literature is a nice cow with a very filled udder, the Krishna is that cowherd boy who is milking the essence and giving that in Bhagavad Gita. And Pardho Vatsaha, the calf which is drinking, that is like Pardha. Though, so how if you are going to the villages, you can see how a full udder, a calf comes and drinks that, and rest of it the farmer or someone who has that will use it. Like that, though the calf is Arjuna, Dugdham Gitamritam Mahat, and all the Sudhir means who has the good intelligence. They are actually drinking that Gitamritam Mahat through that is facilitated by the conversation between Krishna and Arjuna. That's why all these verses, there will be direct correspondence to the verses of Bhagavad Gita. And also what Prabhupada tells at the end, this is the conclusion, is one must always know, even this point it will remind you, Isopanisad future verses will remind you, each part and parcel of the complete whole has energy to act by the Lord's will. Forgetting this role leads to Maya. Sri Isopanisad wants us to carefully play our designated part. So forgetting their role is what caused Indra to create all the pastime of Govardhan Hill. Of course, Lord also sometimes awards that forgetfulness in order for the nice pastimes to go. But we should always act in a way that whatever the power and the opulences that we have is given by Krishna only. That the word power Prabhupada uses actually. The ultimate power, all power comes from the Lord. Prabhupada writes in the last paragraph of this. That under like the initiative and free will, the soul has initiative as the part of the Lord. Proper use of initiative with intelligence helps reviving original consciousness and overcoming Maya, extra energy. So, just because we are part and parcels of Krishna, like there are some theories by some scientists saying that, oh, universe is nothing but some set of time frames. We are just perceiving like front to back. Or you can go reverse also. It will be like a bread slices is what they believe. Okay, it's Einstein's actually. He tells that. But the thing is, that's not true. We have free will. We can actually act according to our own free will. But ultimately, Lord's will what be done. But we should always execute initiative and free will. We should always act in a way that we are part and parcels of that Krishna. And also utilizing power for Lord's will. Utilizing power means whatever the talents one can have. Some people might have a lot of money. Some people might have a lot of time. Whatever, like some people might have a lot of talents that they can do. Like for example, Mataji played nice tabla. Prabhuji was singing songs. All these are utilized in Lord's pleasure. So that is somehow submissive service attitude leads to knowing the Lord. Sevonmukhe jihvadav is one of the verse Prabhupada also quotes. Yesterday we read. So Lord will reveal himself through devotional service only. And the perfect knowledge means knowing Lord's features, understanding his potencies, and knowing these potencies work by his will. Learning how these potencies work by his will. There is a verse in Bhagavad Gita where Prabhupada very clearly mentions that is Rajavidya, Rajaguhyam, like that it comes. And that king of knowledge and the perfect knowledge is given in Bhagavad Gita as it is. So this point is actually mentioned in this verse, and also coincidentally, this is Gita Jayanti's month. So we read Bhagavad Gita, we do Parayan of the verses of Bhagavad Gita, we distribute Bhagavad Gitas, and also if you can sponsor also for Bhagavad Gitas to be distributed. And this because I think in Saturday, right, we are celebrating Gita tomorrow, Sunday. Sorry, today is Saturday. Okay, So tomorrow we have a big festival also in our temple. If any, please try to join. So in conclusion, Prabhupada also mentions that Bhagavad Gita is the essence of all Upanishads. So in this verse we saw how Lord might be fixed and also moves swifter than the mind, and also the powerful demigods cannot approach him. Although in one place he controls those who supply air and rain, he surpasses all in excellence. So next onwards I'll mix like 2-3 mantras and we'll discuss from next week. So that's all for this week. Thank you so much. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Now prasadam will be served, and in 10 minutes we'll have darshan open and the last arati of the Lord. Okay, Jai, Hare Krishna.